Hello, and welcome to the next installment of the Mario 64 120 Stars, Episode 4. But before we get into that, I have a certain individual I want to talk about. One of the viewers who's been commenting on every single one of my videos. His name, Cube Gamer. But for my memory's sake, I'm gonna call him Cube, I guess. He watches all my videos all the way through and leaves a comment on each one. It's almost like he enjoys the content or something, but that's impossible. I would never even perceive to accept it. It started out simple, nothing much, just skeleton. I was like, well yeah, no duh, I'm a skeleton, but I just left it at that. Oh boy, but it didn't end there. He actually made a comment on the second video. He said that those 11 deaths from Bowser were karma from attacking King Boo and stealing his stars. And you know what? That's fair, I suppose. It's kind of funny, but also I feel like maybe I'm just bad at this game. His last comment is what really threw me for a loop though. He said, why do I need the invisible cap when I'm already invisible? What that's even supposed to mean? Like, wait, that can't mean... He's in my walls! Well, in slightly less distressing news, we are up to 14 subscribers. We got another one added to the crew. Welcome, thank you. And now, you're permanently a part of the Skeleton Crew. Nice to meet you. Now, let's move on. We're going to begin off this episode by going into Hazy Maze Cave, which honestly feels like it should be World 8 rather than World 6 based on where it's located, but I could just be crazy. The first on our list is the Swimming Beast in the Caverns, which is kind of insulting, as Nessie would never harm a fly. I'm kind of offended that they would even suggest such a thing. However, before we can even attempt this star, my ADHD takes over and decides that it wants to go on a ride with the metal cap, and finds this path to follow. I have never actually gotten the star before, so it's kind of intriguing to see for myself that once you reach the end of this path, there's just a button there. And it leads to a secret passage that I didn't know about otherwise. And as simple as ABCs, you just walk to the end of the path, make a couple of jumps, and you get the star. Okay, so this time we go talk to Nessie, and our good pal decides to let us ride on its head once we bonk it in the back. Sorry, Nessie, my bad. And once we get on top of its head, it allows us to direct it towards the island to get the star. The next star, of course, is the 8 red coin star. All stages have them, you gotta do them eventually. This one wasn't too bad, it just took me a little while because it took me a couple attempts when I kept falling. But whatever, we did eventually end up getting them. Here's the locations of all of them. Once you make your way around the room, there's a slightly elevated platform where you'll find a particularly strange looking levitating platform that could take you around the room. Using this platform, we went around the room on the inside area and collected the first 2 coins from these boxes here. Heading up even higher, there's another set of platforms, this time with another elevator, except this one moves on its own. Taking this magical little floating ride with us, we get the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th coins in this area. Not too shabby if I do say. We head back down to the directionally challenged platform and decide to take it around the outside because I didn't realize there was an outside before. This nats us our 7th coin pretty easily. And the 8th coin is just right there as well. That also spawns the star, which we collect very timely and easily. Is what I would be saying if I wasn't such an idiot. I decided to go and try and go for the 100 coin star because I figured why not, it'd be easier to take care of it now than later. I took a bit of a path around and checked out some areas. I didn't go underground because I didn't realize there was a way to get back out, and kind of ended up falling in the rock pit in the process. So yes, I had to collect all 8 of these coins again. Oh boy. The process of collecting the 8 red coins was pretty much the same as what I just told you, except for the last one, instead of going around on the platform, I decided to do a backflip off of the ground, so that way I could get up easier and didn't have to ride the platform all the way around again. At this point, I was glad to have gotten the metal cap, as we were going to have to make our way through the toxic cave, and it kinda requires that if we don't want to take too much damage. The funny thing, though, is that since there's actually 3 stars down here, I managed to get 2 of the wrong stars before I finally ended up getting the one that I was actually going for. The first one is where you take the lift and go back up to the top where you were originally, where all these floating grates are that you can climb on. You just have to climb across and get a few coins, and look, the star's right over there. And the second one was quite simple as well. Now that I knew the underground area didn't automatically keep you there, I decided to go and get the 100 coin star, which, I mean, at this point seems pretty obvious. Then, following along this path, we could just take that elevator and get up to the star we were actually going for. That just left one star left for this course. The star behind the rolling rocks. And if you didn't know, it's a really simple one. All you have to do is run past the rocks, try not to get squashed of course, and do a wall jump right here. It's literally just on that ledge. You could just grab it as the first star if you wanted to. And with that, we wrap up Hazy Maze Cave and move right on to Dire Dire Dock. Now that we're actually going into Dire Dire Dock this time, I can tell you that water levels are so annoying. You just swim so slow, and they have this big loop that you go through, and it just feels like they added this for extra gameplay time. There's almost no reason to even have this giant, like, up and down section for, like, no reason, man. Come on! Once you do make it through, though, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is get on the back of the submarine and do a couple jumps, and you can get on the top pretty easily. Now, I think you're technically supposed to hit a button to get up here easier, but who cares? At this point, you could fight Bowser for the second time, but I decided to forego that as I'm trying to get all the stars that I can before having to progress. The second star, Chest in the Current, is unfortunately where we lose our second life of today's run. Yeah, we did look for the pattern, and we tried to get the chest unlocked properly, but with this really strong current here, I got electrocuted by the second chest I tried trying to get the combination correct, and it sucked me up and killed me immediately. Cool! Great mechanics! Jumping back in after making a few more mistakes, we did finally get the combination, but this time we didn't die to the current. But trust me, it got very close and very scary. Breaking free from the current, we grab the star and push onwards! The next star was a bit of a doozy for me, as I had not realized there was a mechanic I didn't know about. Which, I mean, in a game that I haven't played in a long time, kind of figures that there's something I'd either forget or didn't know about in general. If you were unaware, the poles that spawn with the red coins do not appear until after you beat Bowser. I spent a very long time looking around and even looking this up before I finally realized that's how it worked, and I was like, crap, I gotta go back and kill Bowser, I suppose. So this is where we decided to turn around, take care of Bowser, and come back. In the process, though, we decided to go and get the 5 rings in the current underneath the submarine and take the metal cap to grab that star. Figured while we're here, might as well take care of it so we get something out of the way. We make our way into another sea of red, trying to get to Bowser so we can collect all the 8 red coins, and we do of course die a few times, but not nearly as many as I'd expected. In fact, it really wasn't that bad. We only died 3 times. The first one was due to fall damage, because we were trying to get to a red coin and I was being kinda dumb about it. The second one was also fall damage, but mainly because I was trying to avoid the lava, so in the long run, I don't know how to consider that. And the third one, well, let me just show you. All of this fire, I just got comboed out of my mind by lava! Well, after dying only 3 times, we did actually get a successful attempt where we collected all the coins and made it to Bowser. Pretty quickly too at that. The first coin's pretty easy. You just have to follow the graded path right after the bully and jump over the gap. Number 2 is on the first of the sorta wobbly platforms. Number 3 is in the corner of this purpley bluish room, and number 4 is immediately afterwards underneath the elevator as long as you don't take it up. Number 5 is up this little triangle thing here and up where the bully is. It's pretty easy to just grab it and completely ignore him. Number 6 is up where those platforms ascend in the kind of zigzaggy pattern. You just have to wait for them to go up, and eventually you can grab it no problem. Number 7 is on this lava path of doom that killed me last time. Oh my gosh, that was so annoying. Somehow this time I managed to balance though, and, damage boost to the end where the heart was. Number 8 was immediately above the second bopping platform with the pole, and honestly, the star just spawns right over there. Thankfully, we don't have to go back to the very beginning like a lot of these stars tend to let us do, and we jump up, do a wall kick, and get up there pretty easily. After all that, it's finally time for us to move on to the man himself, Bowser. And once again, he did seem to give us a little bit of troubles. I didn't think he was going to be too bad this time, but my aim is very, very poor, as you're about to see. I knew my aim wasn't very good, so I decided to go for what they called a nudging technique and tried to slowly throw Bowser closer and closer to the bomb until I could get him hit. Unfortunately, this did not work and I ended up throwing him off the edge, which caused more problems than help. But of course, it wouldn't be me if I hadn't fallen off by a really stupid reason, and, just fell. I wasn't even hit, I just fell. I slipped, I guess. I don't know. But at least it respawns you in front of the Bowser fight, so I didn't have to do all that red coin nonsense all over again. We tried our nudging nonsense again, and it almost worked this time. But instead of beating him, I ended up dying to damage, because he has a very fat hitbox. I almost fell off again right there, as you could tell, but thankfully, I didn't. Instead, we just walked right into him and died. Well, after that, we finally get back into the fight and beat Bowser this time. It was a bit of a struggle, took a little bit of time, unfortunately, but this time we beat him. We might have given up a little bit on our shenanigans of soft throwing and did a couple of actual throws to see if we could hit him, but those didn't work out too well either. Anywho's, by the end of this fight, we managed to get the key and progress. But instead of moving forward, we go back to the Dire Dire Docks. Moving back into the Dire Dire Docks, you can now see that those poles did actually show up since Bowser was finally defeated. Why this is how it works, I'm not entirely sure. Anywho's, the 8 red coins are quite simple, and as you saw there, that was the first one we collected. Coins 2, 3, and 4 are all along this path. There really isn't anything else much past this, you just collect these and go right back. Coin number 5 I collected by staying on this pole in the intersecting paths. Numbers 6 and 7 just happen to be on the opposite side of those intersecting paths where you just jump across. If you didn't do it at first, you have to wait for the timing to line up, but it's not too bad. And number 8 was at the very end of the middle path once you passed the blue coin switch. Really not that complicated, all of them are in the last room by the submarine, or where the submarine was at least, and grabbing the star just requires a little bit of backtracking. Pretty simple, all things considered. Here's where I'd normally insert me getting the star and moving on to the next one. However, curiosity got the better of me and I decided to start going to collecting 100 coins. Well, I couldn't find any more and figured, hey, maybe this is a sub-area since that wall is gone now. No, it just sucked me up and spat me out in Peach's moat. The only problem is, it wasn't necessarily considered a death, because I didn't lose a life. So, I don't really know how to consider this one, and just move on for now. I'm gonna go ahead and get back and get those red coins, collect that star, and get the 100 coin star this time. But I wanted to ask you guys what y'all think this should be considered. Also, speaking of death, the death counter's been awfully quiet today.
It's not my fault you've been playing better today. I mean, like you haven't died nearly as much. Come on, man.
You know what? Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment and keep moving on. You're much appreciated, death counter.
What? No, that's not what I meant at all. No, no, ah!
Now, for anyone who's trying to go for the 100 coin star in Dire Dire Docks, heed my warning. Get these 5 coins at the very top of the area. There are very few extra coins in this stage, and you will need these. And the problem is, it drops you down below where you normally see these coins, so most people don't even know these exist! Through enough persistence, willpower, and a YouTube video, I did finally get all the coins I needed, including red, blue, and of course gold coins, with this last red coin actually being the 100th coin I needed. Kinda cool. That's 2 more stars added to our total, with the next one being significantly easier. For this one, all you have to do is follow a stingray and swim through its bubbles. That is literally it. You go through 5 rings and the star just kinda spawns and you can collect it real easy. The last star in this area was quite a cool one actually, and I feel like it was a very underrated and underused mechanic. Stacking caps. In fact, I didn't even know that was possible until this star happened upon me. You can actually stack both the invisible cap and the metal cap to allow you to go underwater and go through gates at the same time. Using this new knowledge, I was able to get to the last star with no trouble at all. It's time for us to finally open the second and last door that requires a key in this game. I have just enough time to do one more world, and I decided to go ahead and do Wet Dry World. With this being the first of many worlds that I've actually never seen before on my own, and trying not to look up too much if I can avoid it, I really didn't know where to go at the very first spot, so decided to explore for a little bit, and actually ended up getting the wrong star for the first one. In the long run, who really cares though? A star is a star and progress is progress. Let's keep on going. For the second time through, I discovered that by entering the painting at a lower level, the water actually lowers. But I also noticed that there's these mechanics here that allow you to raise and lower the water as needed as well, so it doesn't really matter either way. This allows me to get a better view of the world from beneath. And using that vision, I break this box in order to allow me to get up here once I drop the platform later. After making our way back up using this flipper character, which I'm sure was not the intended route, we go up to the top, hit this little platform here which goes down and allows us to get the star after we jump off the ledge and take some damage. Taking this slow-moving platform back up to the top, we can finally get our 4th star. Well, not our 4th star, but the 4th star of the section at least. Taking the same route that we took during our last star, we finally go over to the path where the orange bricks are, and yeah, that's finally where those moving platforms are that we've been looking for the entire time, and where Star 1 is actually located. The next star, Secrets of the Shallows and Sky, is a pretty simple one. You just have to find 5 secret areas and activate them in order to get the star to spawn, much like the red coins or even the gold coins back in Dry Desert. The first one is just beneath this movable block behind that pillar there. Number 2 is right next to it, in fact. You just move the block over a little further and you can get this block right here, which actually happens to be the second secret spot. Number 3 is behind this block here, you just have to move it back and you can see it. This stage has something with moving blocks for some reason. I don't understand why a water level of all levels would have this, but whatever. Number 4 happens to actually be on top of this pillar here where this rotating electric orb thingy is once you get to the very top section. Okay, so as you might have seen in one of the previous areas, the 5th spot's actually right up here. It's not even that hard to find, but for some reason in my brain I happened to forget, and it took me 10 full minutes to remember that it's just right here on top of the Great Man. Like, come on! Before we grabbed that though, since I was so close to getting the 100 coin star, I went around and collected the last couple coins I needed, and we ended up grabbing it as well. Okay, we're moving on to the red coins in the secret town, which is also a pretty easy one. But for this one, I kinda decided to cheese it by just jumping in the painting at the max height and jumping over the fence. I know you could technically take the cannon, but this was just faster and I didn't feel like dealing with it. Once you're inside the little town, you'll want to make your way as quickly as possible to the little switch that drops the water down, because otherwise you cannot break these boxes without being in metal form, which is just too time limited. So I decided to go and find it by swimming around and found it in this back left corner here. While I was planning on getting the 8 red coin star, I decided to go ahead and go for the invisible cap star instead. All you have to do is grab the cap, go to the other side, and there's a gate there that you can't get through otherwise. Do a couple of wall jumps, wall bounces, whatever you want to call them, and get to the top where the star is, and you get it for free. Okay, so we jump back in, lower the water level, and decide to get the 8 red coins this time, as it's kind of the only star we have left to go for this world. The first 2 coins I go for are the ones that are up here on the brick wall. They're really not that hard to get to, and all you have to do is just make a little bit of a balancing act, punch the box, and break them open. There you go. We use the wall that we were just on to jump over to a gray building. That also allows us to break a box and get the 3rd coin. Coin number 4 was in this box literally right in front of this tower at the very middle of the room. Coins number 5 and 6 we got pretty easily by just wall jumping between these 2 buildings. We jumped back down, wall jumped across the other side, and got them pretty quick. Coin number 7 was another wall jumping session between this cage and the wall. The only difference was that since the cage was a little angled, it did take me a couple tries. Last but not least is the 8th coin, the coin above the tower, or in the bell tower. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, this is the last one we need to get the star to spawn, and as you can see, we kind of just pop up there through the wall, and we jump down, grab the star, and that's all we're doing for today. Okay, so I know this video isn't quite the 30 minutes that I promised you guys last time, but honestly, I don't care. Between time change and work, I just didn't have the energy or ability to do it the way I wanted to. And honestly, I think that's okay. I'm gonna probably aim for about 20 to 25 minutes for most of these videos, but if I don't get there, who cares? I'm mostly here just for the fun of it and just want you guys to enjoy. If you did, please press the like or subscribe button. It really would help me out, as this is a small channel and I want to get big. I want to make our skeleton crew one of the greatest in history. But anyways, let's get on with the statistics now. We currently have 80 stars in the bank, which actually means we're 2/3 of the way through. That's kind of impressive. When it comes to deaths though, we only have 67. Wait, am I reading that right? 67? That's way less than the last episode, at least in comparison. That's crazy! Maybe we can do this after all. And in total gameplay, we have 8 hours. This has been really fun, and I hope you guys have been enjoying it. I have, and I want to keep going. Anyways, y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Peace.